Welcome to the Community Difference Rockwall, powered by the Difference Media LLC, and hosted by Tammy Escobedo, a beauty industry leader, and also sponsored by Frank McLeod with Minuteman Press of Rockwall, Josh and Kristin Small with WeatherTech General Contractors, Bryan Decker with Compass Facilities Consulting, and by Clarence Jorith with the Compound Nevada. The Community Difference Rockwall was created to serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals. So sit back and relax as our host, co-host, and their guests share inspirational stories, experiences, thoughts, and insights about being a professional, along with the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in very special ways. Because the Community Difference Rockwall starts now.
Well, welcome to the Community Difference Rockwall. This is a podcast firmly rooted at the intersection of business development and community involvement. I am your host, Tammy Escobedo, and I'm a proud beauty industry leader and just a business coach. And I am honored to have the opportunity to empower women to create sustainable work from home businesses while also helping them cultivate a lifestyle rooted in confidence and self-assurance. I'm super excited to be here this afternoon. Today, we have an exciting show lined up as we continue our topic for October, brand relevance, the overlooked piece to effective branding, a theme that we'll really dive into in our third segment. But first, as always, we want to introduce our amazing co-hosts and our incredible guests that are with us today. So our first co-host today, Bryan Decker. Bryan grew up in Rockwall. He graduated from Rockwall High School in 1994. And before setting his sights on the private sector, Bryan served in the U.S. Navy. He was in the U.S. Navy Nuclear Propulsion Program. And for 20 years, he honed his skills in managing mission-critical operations. This experience with high-stakes environments fueled his passion for creating reliable systems that deliver performance. Bryan then leveraged his expertise at Meta, serving as the Global Operations Readiness Manager. He spearheaded the optimization and governance of a network of 27 data centers, ensuring efficiency and delivering uninterrupted service to a demanding digital world. Today, Bryan leads a team of professionals who equip organizations with the tools and strategies to optimize operations. Bryan is passionate about supporting veteran and first responder charities throughout the United States. He currently is active. He actively supports the Texas Valor Project. That's one near and dear to my heart. The VOB, the Texas Fallen Officer Foundation, Texas State Trooper Association, and the Texas Firefighter Foundation. With Compass Facilities Consultant, here's Bryan Decker. Welcome, Bryan.
Thank you, Tammy. I'm so excited to be here as always.
Yeah, that's a lot of words, but you've done so many things that are so important to share. So thank you for being here.
No, of course. I need to truncate that for you so you don't have to say all that.
What's your favorite? What are you most excited about today? What's your favorite thing today?
Oh man, we have some great guests today. I can't wait to hear from the folks we have lined up. It's just an exciting time to be here as always. And there's so much good that comes from this community just out to everywhere, right? And every podcast we get to talk about the exposure of just the hearts and minds of people in Rockwall, and today's no different, and I can't wait to get into that.
Right. Awesome. Well, okay, thank you, Bryan, for being here. Our next co-host, Joshua Small. After graduating from college, Josh worked in corporate America as a headhunter in the accounting and finance industry, and after several years, Josh just got burnt out. I know that feeling. So the inspiration for his next career move came from working summers with his dad, laying brick while he was growing up. After headhunting, Josh took a job with a roofing company, which eventually led to the creation of WeatherTech General Contracting in 2011, as he saw the need for not just roofing, but also providing customers with an overall one-stop shop experience, fulfilling all of a customer's home repair needs in the Rockwall area. WeatherTech's goal is to ensure every client is not just content, but ecstatic with the results. Roofs, remodels, additions, you name it. WeatherTech will bring your home ideas to reality. Josh is dedicated to forming long-term relationships with his clients by offering a multitude of services and ensuring every job is a relational, not transactional. Today, WeatherTech General Contracting handles both residential and commercial projects with a team that has been together for over a decade, servicing the DFW Metroplex as well as San Antonio and surrounding areas. Josh, welcome. We're glad that you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Tell us what you're most excited about being here today.
Well, other than the weather, I'm excited to finally have Scott Dodson on the show and to hear what Stephanie and Lee have to say about the topics that we have.
Awesome. So glad you're here. Thank you, Josh. And thank you for getting Scott on the show. I'm excited to introduce him. We'll introduce him in just a second. Our first guest is going to be Stephanie Whiting. Stephanie began her career in mortgage lending in 2004. She started from an entry-level position and worked her way through various roles in the industry. With a strong foundation in processing, underwriting, and loan documentation, she now serves as a licensed loan officer, focused on educating clients and guiding them through the complexities of the home buying process. Stephanie's passion lies in making home ownership accessible and helping build generational wealth in her community. Founded in 2009, Town Square Mortgage is a preferred mortgage lender. They have built a strong reputation by expertly serving the needs of home buyers, real estate professionals, and builders who know they can count on them to get home loans done. They have an in-house loan process that enables their team to deliver fast, efficient closing times for a variety of loan solutions. In fact, they are so fast that they guarantee to close in 21 days. So, Stephanie, welcome to our group. 21 days?
It seems very fast, but the entire process of buying a home is can be very nerve-wracking for first-time buyers or repeat buyers. So those 21 days can be very much a peace of mind to those who are in the process of buying a house. So
yes.
And many times are very anxious to get those keys. So we're happy to provide such a quick service for that process.
Awesome. Well, we welcome you. We're glad that you're here. Let's get next to our next guest. We have a few minutes left before we go to commercial. Scott Dodson, guest number 2. Scott's 30 years leading blue chip, mid-cap, and venture-backed companies in global markets, provides the experience necessary to propel compression works to commercial success. Always attracted to technology that made a difference in the lives of patients. Scott spent his early career at Boston Scientific and helped grow the company from a $40 million privately held organization to a $2 billion publicly traded medical powerhouse during his tenure. There's a lot of information here, and I want to go through all of it, but we're going to go straight to, because we're going to run out of time. We're going to go straight to, he currently serves on city council, and he has been on the economic development team for 6 years for the city of Heath, and does a lot of things in our community. So, Scott, we want to hear a little bit more from you. Welcome. We're glad that you are here.
Thanks, Tammy, very much. Really excited to be on with this group today and, learn about how different people look at their businesses from a branding, messaging, and positioning standpoint. And just so delighted to be here in the Rockwall community and being able to contribute in several different areas.
Awesome. Well, we are glad that you're here. I can't wait to hear from you. And our next guest that we want to introduce is Lee Wells. Lee Wells with Wells Cattle Company and the We're Here documentary. Lee Wells has launched 10 entrepreneurial initiatives in life, 9 of those being small business companies. Lee planted a church in 2011 and continues to pastor today. In the past, he launched a construction company and lost it during the horrible economy following September the 11th, 2001. There's a lot of information to share about Lee, but let's bring him on. I want you to meet Lee. He is also the host of the weekly business podcast, The Ranch and Table, found anywhere podcasts are available to download. Lee, we're glad that you're here.
Glad to be here.
What are you most excited about?
Well, I think it was Josh already said the weather. If we could just get a little rain, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here. I always enjoy talking business. I talk that on a regular basis with a lot of folks, and to be able to be here with you guys has just been an honor. I've been looking forward to it.
Sounds like we got
I think we might have lost Tammy for a second with the internet. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes, sir, we can. We're about time for a commercial break anyway.
We'll go to our break. When we come back, hopefully we can resolve those issues. So guys, stick around. We'll be right back.
The Community Difference Rockwall is made possible by Tammy Escobedo, a beauty industry leader, Josh and Kristin Small with WeatherTech General Contractors, Frank McLeod with Minuteman Press of Rockwall, Bryan Decker with Compass Facilities Consulting, and by Clarence Jorev with the Compound Nevada. The Community Difference Rockwall. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
Are you ready?
Because it's time for
What's Up Rockwall?
All right.
All right. Welcome back, guys. We're having a little technical issue, I think, with Tammy. We will see if we can get her back on here. Let me just double check here. Let's start with you, Bryan. I know you guys had some different things to share for What's Up Rockwall. If you want to just kick us off, Tammy just says her computer just turned off.
Oh, no.
So if you want to kick us off with what you have going on in Rockwall.
Absolutely. I think I have a few events, but I wanted to make sure we got to Lee. Lee was going to talk a little bit about what's coming up. He was able to direct and produce a documentary on the Panhandle wildfires and the ranchers and everything they went through up there. And so Lee, I'd love to hear a little bit about, how that came about. I mean, obviously we all saw the devastation and all the damage up there, and you sprung into action and went to help those folks. Can you tell us a little bit about that in the documentary?
Yeah, we saw that fire coming across the Panhandle, and about 26th of February, 27th. So March 1st, I kind of just went full time trying to help folks and direct supplies, hay, feed out of this area to them. And on one of those trips, we decided let's get a film crew together. Let's go see what we can capture while it's still available. And so 3-4 filming sessions later, we got what we have and been excited to share it with folks. And we've been across the Panhandle now with it. And this weekend on Friday, we're going to be showing it here in our area in Greenville. So this will be the last time we'll be able to see it till next year sometime, because it's going into film festivals and the whole process gets complicated. But excited to let people see it in our area. People that helped, jumped in, contributed. I want them to be able to see this, and some of them are in it. So it should be a pretty fun time.
For sure. I mean, you had such a kind of the community pouring into this. Can you talk a little bit about, what you're able to receive from the community and how you were able to take that and kind of the impact a little bit? Don't give away the documentary, of course. But
right.
Yeah.
We, about March 1st, I got on Facebook and I was almost in tears, and just the devastation, just unimaginable. Just the quick snapshot is the fire went west to east and grew to about 100 miles wide. And then the wind shifted to the south and just drove that fire at 60 miles an hour south across the Panhandle, just wiping out everything in its way. And we're talking major ranches. I mean, 10,000, 20,000 acre ranches completely wiped out. And so I put out a call to help, and people just started saying, "Hey, I've got this. Hey, you can have, I've here's some money." It just started happening. And the people in our area, Rockwall, Hunt County, just some amazing folks. I can't say enough good about the heart of people to just help and jump in. And so that's where the story started. And of course, in the documentary, we take it all the way through to the end. And we even took a last trip out, which had green grass and some growth coming back. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool.
You're amazing, Lee. Thank you for all that information. I am excited to see the documentary this week, and I'm so glad that people from our community, that this is the kind of thing that's happening right here in our own community. So thank you for what you've done.
Yes, ma'am.
What else is going on in Rockwall? Scott, what you got?
Sure. So we have in Heath, Texas, a Veterans Day ceremony on Monday, November the 11th at the Rush Creek Yacht Club in Heath, Texas at 320 Rush Creek Drive, starting at 4:30 p.m. Welcome all of the veterans and all of the citizens from Heath and the surrounding areas. It's right on the point there, right on Lake Ray Hubbard, so it's a beautiful setting. There will be a honor guard detachment there. There'll be a cannon firing, which they use at the Rush Creek Golf Club to actually, or Yacht Club to actually start some of their sailing races. So we're very excited to have that in our community.
Awesome. I'm coming to that. You said veterans, and I'm a veteran mom. Does that count?
Absolutely, it does. It's veterans, friends of veterans, people that respect veterans, people that just want to be a part of a great community gathering and really pay tribute to those that protect our freedoms.
Awesome, Scott. Thank you for that.
Yeah, love that. Thank you, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What else you got?
Yeah, on tomorrow, actually 6 p.m. You've got Bourbon with the Boys for the Child Advocacy Center. That's gonna be down at the harbor at the 360 bar. You know, right next to the steakhouse down there. But also while you're down there, so you can make a night of it. Texas Flood, the Stevie Ray tribute band is playing down there at 7 p.m. So you can go in and enjoy some bourbon with the Blue Tie guys from Children's Advocacy Center, and then listen to some a tribute band for Stevie Ray. I can't think of a better night than that. And then on the 26th coming up, you got Scare on the Square, 2 p.m. So if you got littles, awesome place. Even if you don't, it's I love that event. I love every holiday the Square does something cool, and it's just what looking at all the families enjoying that area. It's just awesome to see, especially as we grow, right? Those are the things that I latch on to. I'm like, oh, we're still small. Look, we're doing this.
Yeah.
And then Royce City on Saturday at noon is doing a fun fest at the Chamber of Commerce. Saw some. They've got some great sponsors, and that should be a really cool event. So as always, there's a lot of stuff to do around here. If you just take a look and head out and get outside and enjoy this beautiful weather.
Get plugged into the right place. This weather is absolutely amazing today. Okay, Stephanie, what do you have for us today?
I wanted to bring up as a chamber member for Rockwall, we have the Professional Women's Alliance Fall Brunch on November 6th. It's a Wednesday from 10 to 12. It'll be at the Castle Rockwall on Clem Road. The theme is harmony and balancing the mastering the work-life balance. So it'll promise to be an enriching experience. So I'm excited about that. They'll have a lot of great speakers. You'll be able to gain a lot of valuable tools that will help enrich not just your career life, but also your personal life. So I'm excited to go to that and hopefully gain some tools for myself as work-life balance as a mom, wife, and career woman is very it's a juggling act, I'll say.
Yes, I sit on the advisory committee for the PWA. I'm proud to do that. And when we were talking about the topic for the PWA, we were talking, is there such a thing as balance? And I think the answer is no, but I think we can find a better harmony to help get through the lives. It's definitely a challenge. I'm excited for the event. We have some fabulous speakers. It's going to be great.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good. What else you got?
Ooh, there is this Friday at the chamber. There's the 60-mile-per-hour speed networking. That is a quick and fun way to meet a lot of the local businesses and local business-minded individuals, entrepreneurs, and people who are just looking to get connected into the community very quickly. So it's an hour long, but when you're sitting down and really have maybe 3 minutes to talk to 20 something odd or more people, it can go by very quickly, but it does give you a really great fun environment and experience to just go through and meet a lot of people in a very short amount of time. So that's this Friday at 8:30 at the chamber.
Awesome. That's good. Josh, tell us what you have. You got something for us today? Oh,
Josh,
you're on mute. You're on mute, Josh. There you go.
Yes, Rosini Vineyards in Rockwall, Texas I got to be careful on how I say this, is having a happily ever sip and shop. That's November 17th between 11:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. This should be a fun event for a lot of different things they have going on. It's family and dog friendly, holiday items, a special menu, and a women's boutique.
Yes.
The other event we have coming up is Toys for Tots. It's a couple of months away, December 5th. They're having an event called Santa at Standard. Standard service. They're having family fun, face painting, bounce houses, Santa Claus, and gingerbread houses for all the kids.
That's going to be fun.
That sounds really great. I love the Santa at Standard service. If y'all have never been, you should take your kids. And if you're my age, you might have grandkids. And you take those grandbabies to that. It's such a fun experience. Bryan, what do you have? Did you already go? I'm so sorry.
I did, yeah.
Okay. Scott, tell us. I want to know what's going on. What's up, Rockwall? So as the host of this show, I get questions all the time about our traffic and our water. So as a city councilman, tell us what's going on in Rockwall.
Well, every municipality in this area, has their own challenges, right? And the one that I live in Heath and here in Rockwall County has their challenges. And the number one thing far and away is water. Tammy, as you know, being a Heath resident yourself. Now, our biggest challenge, I think, that we have is not overall daily usage. It's really around irrigation and the huge spikes that we get when people are irrigating their lawns. So fortunately, we're coming out of our summer season and our utilization is going down. But, we need to find some additional sources and supply to not only help and manage the amount of water that we have on hand here in the city, but also manage for future growth as well. So fortunately, we've been able to put forth a budget that has put a little bit of that control in our own hands with regards to populating some of our areas with wells and being able to increase the overall supply that we have, adding a bit to our storage capacity so that we can manage through some of the driest parts of the season, as well as managing the overall utilization. We're all on a new water meter system here now so that we can actually see the amount of water that we're utilizing on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And we've also had some new developments that have come into our area, and it's becoming increasingly popular for the ask on those new developments to be able to support their own watering systems with well varieties and purple pipe, if you will, non-potable water to be able to do irrigation. So on a go-forward basis, we have some very strong ability to be able to manage our overall situation much more effectively. But it's going to take a couple of years for us to get that infrastructure in place. And I think on a go-forward basis, being able to continually invest there will put us in a situation where we can control our own destiny a little bit more effectively.
Awesome. I love knowing people who know what's going on and people who are smart figuring it out, because it's frustrating.
Yeah. with Scott, with the growth in this area, right? Which, I mean, gosh, this whole area is just exploding. I think on most of the citizens, that's on our mind, right? Like, what's the impact of the power grid? What's the impact of the utility and the water, as we grow? And it sounds like you guys are ahead of that problem and looking at ways that we can reduce the impact on the citizens for, all the growth and the developments that are coming in. So it's really nice to hear.
Well, Brian, we've had a lot of catching up to do, right? I mean, we were behind the 8 ball with regards to investing in infrastructure, and we're finally getting to a point where we can do some of those things, prospectively. But, even from an overall residential growth perspective, through July of this year, Heath has only issued 26 building permits, a historic low, and since Heath was incorporated back in the 50s. Wow. Last year in 2023, Heath only issued 74 building permits, which is a 9-year low. So it's not overbuilding that is really causing some of the water challenge. It's really over irrigation, but we need to put the plans in place to get some additional supply so that we can manage our go forward growth a lot more effectively.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. That is totally the opposite of what I would have thought. So thank you.
That's amazing. All right. Well, we have so much more that we're going to share and talk about. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and we're going to get to our monthly topic and hear a little bit more from our guests and our co-hosts. See you in a minute.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast network possible.
Total Care Emergency Room now has 9 locations in the DFW Metroplex. With no appointment needed, our incredible staff will get you checked in with no wait times. Our 5-star facility is open and fully staffed 24/7. We offer extensive treatment options for patients of all ages, providing on-site labs and imaging equipment, including CT, X-ray, and ultrasound, allowing us to provide fast, convenient care for our community. Total Care ER is your neighborhood emergency room. TotalCare.us.
Unwanted pests in your home can be stressful. From creepy crawlies to critters under the floorboards, they disrupt your peace of mind. But don't worry. All Pest Solutions is here to help. We offer a comprehensive range of safe and effective pest control solutions. We target all types of pests, big or small, including insects, rodents, and wildlife. All Pest Solutions, your local experts for a pest-free home. Breathe easy and enjoy your life again. Call today for a free quote. 972-442-1169 or email us at customerservice@allpestsolutions.com.
To belong is one of our most basic human needs. Best Buddies International is the world's largest organization dedicated to ending the social isolation of 200 million individuals who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. We focus on meaningful one-to-one friendships, integrated employment, leadership development, and inclusive living. You have the power to make an impact, create change, and champion our mission of inclusion today.
We are Cloud Staff, enabling remarkable growth for businesses everywhere with our pioneering enterprise-grade remote work solutions. We are on a mission to help business owners scale while reducing costs by matching you with an amazing staff, mobilizing your team, and helping manage business performance, making us the #1 workplace as remote work gets done. Connect with us to access the world's top talent and discover how we can enable remarkable growth for your business.
And now, back to the show.
Well, I'm excited to get straight to our topic today. Our topic of brand relevance, the overlooked piece to effective branding. I look at the screen and I think so many of you already have such great brands, right? And I think what is branding? Branding really is just the ability to connect, with people in your community, sharing your business with them. But the one thing that's usually missing is maybe some kind of an emotional connection. You think?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And with as fast as things move these days, right? You've got that where you've got to be able to connect with your audience, but you also have technology that's just advancing so quickly. So how do you marry those two up, right? How are you able to leverage the new technology, stay ahead of your competitors, but also make sure that you're not losing that connection with your customers and really understanding what they need, right? I think that's the challenge that every business owner faces today.
Yeah. True.
I think
Lee,
one
what
of
do
the
you?
I
Oh,
think
go
one
ahead.
of the things that we run into is people try to hide behind brands. They try to hide behind their company. They try to hide behind the infrastructure that's in front of them. And one thing that I've tried to do is step out in front of that and be who I am all the time. And when you see that name, you hopefully see who I am. And I think people need to be a little less intimidated by the public. I think people are looking for genuine, real, relatable folks. I'm nobody special. I'm nothing special. I really am not. I'm just a guy. But when somebody says that's a good thing, or that's a good burger, or then I'm just happy to be there. And I think that comes with how you structure your brand in the public eye.
For sure.
I'm gonna give you kudos, Lee, because I love your burgers and we love to go to your restaurant, and you have your branding literally on the burger, on the bun.
Yes.
Literally on the bun. Just like you said, who you are is so important because you are so much more than just the burger place. And people know that about you, and the way you call out other people in our community and help support everything that's going on, every restaurant, everything. It says a lot about how you're connecting. People know who you are because of that. It's like Scott sitting on city council. Y'all, you don't get paid for that. That's free. You get paid a lot for that, Scott?
No, you only get the downside with it, which causes your spouse to ask you, why in the world would you ever do something like that to begin with? So,
right.
Yeah.
So, Scott, I might ask you on your business compression. Tell us just a bit, but what does your brand mean to your customers, really on a personal level?
Sure. So, ours is all about saving lives. We manufacture a life-saving hemorrhage control device for our military and for our first responders. And the device was developed downrange in Iraq and Afghanistan because so many soldiers were stepping on explosive devices and getting shot outside of their body armor. So our founder was a deployed Army surgeon with Special Forces and came back and developed this device, got it approved by the FDA in, I think, a record 8 days. And they started spinning this up and deploying it to save lives downrange. So, the branding for this, it's really the difference between life and death. And these people are injured as casualties on the battlefield or on the streets of our cities with our first responders. And for them, the word compression works, or our product, which of course has a wonderful military acronym, the AAJT, for those of you that know and are around military companies. It's really the difference between life and death, and helping people stop that bleeding so that they can get those patients to definitive care.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'm going to ask you this question, Scott. How do you stay relevant to the people that do not currently need what you do?
So I think that, bleeding is the number one form of death in ages between the ages of 6 and 49. And, being able to prepare for the eventuality or the capability of an occurrence like that is kind of like people that are trained on CPR, or people that are trained to work defibrillators and what have you. These occurrences don't always happen, but when they do, you have to be trained in order to be able to jump in and to deploy this technology to save people's lives. So it's sort of what our public service groups do with fire, EMS, and police. You have to train for the eventuality of these things to happen, so that when they do, your action and activity becomes automatic. So in order to do that, you have to maintain relevance. And I agree a lot with what Lee said. In order to jump into a lot of this, there's a lot of noise out there. So you have to be unique and differentiated with your offering and your brand and your message and your position to maintain, Tammy, that relevancy that you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, and Scott, your product, if you have to forecast there, because by the time you need it, it's too late, right? But I'd love to hear a little bit from Stephanie on this, because when being top of mind, we had another segment on that, right? But your brand being the first person that someone calls when they need what you have starts before they need it, right? Or they wouldn't call you. So I don't know, Stephanie, what are your thoughts on that? How do you, as you're running your business and building your brand, how do you stay relevant even when folks aren't looking to buy a house or looking to use your services?
That's a good question. I often do end up getting the phone calls of, my landlord's raising my rent. I can't afford it. I don't know what to do. I'd rather own a house. And those are really the main, emergency type phone calls, if you will. And I kind of went about it in a way that is more of why be forced into buying? Why not plan it in a way that when your lease is up, you're ready to get out of there, whether or not they raise the rent or not? It's education, right? It's making sure that people understand the myths that they believe to be true are in fact, myths, and educating clients well before they're even thinking that they're ready to buy a house. And oftentimes, to their surprise, they're ready and they didn't even know it. It's making sure that you're educating them and providing them the information, now, so that they can chew on that and really understand and ask themselves more questions, or even call me and say, well, what about this situation? What about that scenario? What if I don't have this? Or what if I have this? How can I get ready to be ready by, the end of my lease? Or how long will it take me to get ready? So those are the things that I look at in not being kind of forced into buying, and say, okay, well, I do want to buy a house. How do I get to that point where I am ready? So that I can do it on my own terms without being forced into it. So it's education in my line of work. And so I'm constantly trying to make sure that I'm, busting the myths that are out there of misconceptions. Because what I don't want is people to Google how to buy a house. That's the worst things I would so
stay out of Google.
Yeah, right. I mean, the reason I wanted to ask you that question is, and I'll give everybody a little insight. So when I worked at Facebook headquarters, we lived in California, and the town we lived in was called Brentwood. When we moved to Brentwood, Stephanie was a staple in that industry. And the reason why is because she was always putting out content about, hey, I'm watching the market. This is what things look like. This is the right time. Here's the myths on buying a house. And she was always educating the general public, and she had a huge network there and a huge following. And then she moved to Rockwall, which is awesome, right? But she gets to start all over again on building that brand. And, it's just so interesting to me, kind of the tools that she's used over the years. And I think it applies to any business owner on this topic on, how do you stay relevant? How do you get your name out there and make sure that, when you're in need for something, that's the first person you talk to, or, having your brand be synonymous with what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's so good. Well, I think offering what you're doing then is offering quality education that's free in a society where people just need to learn. I love that.
For
Lee,
sure.
what you got?
I agree with both these guys. I think the value that you add, whether you're needed at that moment or not, has to be realized before you need it. And I'm not in the life-saving business like closing wounds or $500,000 to $700,000 homes. But when you're hungry, come see me. And if you're eating somewhere else today and someone brings us up, that's fine. Or you're going to some other restaurant and you drive by us, that's fine. But hopefully there's some value that's being attributed to your life through us, through, like you just mentioned a while ago, Tammy, I always try to take a picture when I'm eating at what someone would call my competitors' restaurants. I don't believe in competition like that. I've written a book last year. I talk about no competition allowed. Those are my friends who serve a different burger. Those are my friends that serve a different type of food that you might want tonight. and not be in the mood for what we do. That's fine. I don't eat at the same place every day. I think that sometimes we get hung up on the small things that don't matter instead of looking out at the big picture that really does matter. And that is being there when somebody really is looking for you, whether it be a life-saving device, a big home, or a big juicy burger. Being, you said it a while ago, Bryan, top of mind is one of the things that we struggle with and have to do. That's the work that we put in every day for everyone that'll listen. And I think that that's what we do. And then you get a chance to partake in what we do when you need us and when you choose us.
Lee, I was thinking about that before you even said it. Like, you are a huge cheerleader of small businesses in Rockwall, and especially the other restaurants, right? Which might be alarming to some folks, right? But I think that's part of your brand, right? Because you're part of the community. So
that's who I am, Bryan. I'm not a burger salesman. I'm a part of this community. I love this community. I'm between two counties because I live out in Hunt County now on the ranch, but I spend a lot of time in both. And really, it's not about me. It's not even really about my burger. It's about just being who you are all the time. And I think where I was going with that a while ago is I would rather be a cheerleader for somebody else if I can be. And really, it has a great effect. It really does work. It's not that I'm trying to pull some gig. It really just works. That's who the brand is. That's who I am. I really like good food. And if you've got some, I'm going to take a picture of it. My picture is probably going to be better than the one in your menu. And I'm going to tell people how great it is because that's just what I love to do. And if there's, I've never found any negative in that. I've really not found the downside of being someone else's cheerleader. I think that there is more positive that comes out of being in a community like that, where restaurant owners can work together in collaborations, where we supply each other everything that we can locally first. If we can look to that, I think that we make a better community. And that's really what it's all about, living on this earth as happily as we can together. That's
for sure.
That's really what it's about.
Right. Yeah. So let me ask you this question. So anybody can answer. What trends really do you think are emerging just in your industry or even in our community that your brand can really align with or take the lead on? I don't know. I think about, Lee.
I can answer that. Yeah.
Okay, go.
Yeah, for us, there's a trend that's been in the last 10 years about being local, about being, from the earth, not GMO, not, the no hormones, no antibiotics. There's a trend with that. There's a marketing angle to that. And we align with that on purpose because that's, number one, what we are. We are straight from the earth, the way God intended for animals to be raised, and none of the other stuff, none of the fast shortcuts. But there is a synergy with that truth and the trend of the day that we're living in. You really can't trust the meat from the grocery store. They took off country of origin. They take away the fact that they can enter in lab grown meats now, and you don't have any labeling for that. You really can't trust that. So there's good reason for it. But I think that it also builds your credibility and brand when you can find those trends and align with them for the good.
Yes.
Tammy, one of the things that I'm seeing in my business, I would imagine that it's pervasive in everyone's business, is the way that people receive information and what platforms they're going to now as well, even for big established businesses, right? So TikTok has increased in massive relevance with regards to regardless of where you fall on the spectrum for, viewing TikTok, it's where people are getting a lot of their information. They're not getting it from Facebook. Very few are getting it from Instagram anymore. They're getting it from these new platforms. And if your content is written, then it's not going to be read. If it's in video or video format, much like this podcast, you stand a lot greater chance of it being received. But then you have to dose it to people in ways in which they want to receive that information and not make it so burdensome. So that's one of the things that we've learned. We've really had to modify our approach and go from the old traditional 8.5 by 11 glossy photos, cell sheets, and things like this towards informational, data checks on these platforms and make it interesting for people to want to review it so that it becomes top of mind and tip of tongue when they're ready to ask for it.
I 100% agree with that, Scott. I think even in my industry, like I said, Googling how to buy a house is not going to be something a lot of people should do, although they still do it. But there's still, there are still videos out there that are putting out, incorrect information. And that even in and of itself can be definitely frustrating. I will say you won't find me, dancing TikTok videos trying to put out information, but it's more of how am I able to grab the attention of those people and being able to provide them in a very short amount of time, information that's relevant to them in the way that, this is how you can build your credit, or this is how you're able to access some money for a down payment, or this is how you're able to, work on saving money to, buy a house, or, get grant money from cities and counties that have it available. And many times often they don't know that information. So I think goes back to educating and making sure we're putting that information on the right platforms to get it to where that most relevant information is going to be received. So that's definitely what's going on too.
I think there's still a place for you to dance, though.
I don't know about that.
I don't know if it's
not doing any dancing on TikTok either, Stephanie, but it's just it is, however, the platform that EMS professionals, EMTs, paramedics, military medics, and what have you receive this. Even in even in Ukraine, we have now thousands of devices downrange in Ukraine and over in Israel, and where these folks are getting a lot of their information are on these platforms, and that's how we're communicating with them. And I know later in a segment, AI will be a part of this, but translating this information over to local languages where they can pick this up has been pretty incredible as well.
I don't know. I don't know if it's my age or what it is, but I think maybe all of us should meet together somewhere and we can help each other take a video dance and we can post it about our businesses together, because I don't know. But you are right. People are learning. Let me ask you this. What do you think about purpose-driven relevance in our businesses? I think that's so important. I know, Bryan, you're doing the blue tie guy thing tonight at the bourbon and whiskey thing.
Tomorrow. I'll be honest. I don't do that for the business. Those things are important to me. They're important to us as a company because we want the mission of our company when we sat down and wanted to do this was so we could give back more, right? And give to all the communities that have given so much to us. So is it part of the business? Sure, but I don't actually brand for that. It is on our website, so I guess that's not true, but. It's really on our website to drive folks to them. But having a purpose or giving back or anything like that, I think it goes back to what Lee said, right? We're all part of this community, right? Yeah. Whether no matter what we're doing from our business, that's a huge part of why we do what we do, is to give back to the community, and that's really our purpose, is to be able to give back.
See, and that's why people are going to do business with you, Bryan, because you feel like you don't do that for the business, but really that's where people get to know who we are. It's where they get to know your heart, and it's why they want to do business with you later. So I love that. I love to go to Lee's Burgers. It's very, or Wells Burgers. Wells Burgers. It's very casual. It's very nice. My dad and I go visit on a regular basis, and I get a little bit of work done. And I don't know. I feel like I meet both my friends there. I have people who come there. We have committee meetings at different locations all over town. And it's important that we're supporting our businesses in our community and giving back. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I go because of the jalapeno cheddar keto chips that they have.
You don't go to give back? Listen, I feel like if we support Lee, he's going to continue to do the things. One thing he may not have mentioned earlier was when he was in West Texas for the fires, my husband was there as well. He's a firefighter with City of Dallas, and he was deployed at the time. And to hear Lee's stories is so important. I feel like if we buy the burgers and the jalapeno, what did you call it? The jalapeno what?
They're little cheese crisps that, oh man, they're just so good. If you've never tried it and you like that kind of stuff, Lee's folks do that better than anywhere else I've ever been. And I've been all over the world. Right.
But see, I feel like if we support those businesses, it's because of the money made there that he continues to do the things that he does. I'm sure. And Scott, that's why Scott can still serve on city council, right? Got to make money somewhere.
A lot of people say, we need to support local, and we do, but it's not necessarily just to keep the local business open so you have an option to go eat somewhere other than a chain. It's if the studies, I don't have the studies in front of me, Scott might have them off the top of his head. I don't know, but he's got all kinds of information in there. But the number of dollars that go back into the community from local businesses is so much higher than the big chains that are here. And I can't tell you how many, volleyball teams and cheerleaders and, this calendar and that we how many firefighter balls and all the kinds of things that we support. I don't even know. I don't even keep track of it, but we're happy to do it because these are our firefighters. These are our cheerleaders. These are our schools. And it's just part of who we are. We're not some corporate something out of Chicago. And I think that the real reason we support each other, of course, community, but that community comes back to us in community funds and the community connections. And you see each other at a football game. I saw a guy at a football game last Friday night. He was eating with us with his family on Saturday. It's just community. And there's so much value that transacts when we do it that way. And I think it builds a better community.
Yeah.
And that's how we have great brand relevance. We're going to go to commercial. We're going to come back for our next segment.
Maybe.
I think.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast network possible. At Fireboss Realty, we believe life is about relationships, and everything else is just details. Whether you're buying or selling, Scott and Amy Johnson are here to understand your family's unique needs and deliver expert guidance on the North Texas real estate market. With a reputation for integrity and personalized service, Fireboss Realty makes your home journey stress-free and successful. Ready to make your move? Visit firebossrealty.com and let's ignite your real estate dreams.
Everyone deserves access to affordable health insurance, but with traditional insurance, costs can be high and getting coverage can be complicated. JP Direct Health is a simpler, more affordable way to get the health coverage you need. With plans for individuals, families, and small businesses, you can save money on monthly premiums without the need for physicals. At jpdirecthealth.com, we specialize in customizing coverage to fit almost every budget with affordable PPO plans and many other benefits. With over 100 5-star Google reviews, JP Direct Health is a trusted resource making health insurance affordable and accessible for everyone year-round. Affordable health insurance solutions are a proactive protection, not a reactive solution. Visit jpdirecthealth.com today and see how much you can save.
I'm always here to help. Thank you.
Are you or someone you know pregnant or planning to conceive? Caitlin Smith is both a certified childbirth doula and instructor offering childbirth classes to couples wanting an unmedicated, physiological birth outside of the hospital setting. Caitlin has served the local community since 2021 and specializes in working closely with midwives, all while best supporting a mother's physical body, her partner, and the birth environment. You can contact Caitlin through Instagram at thismamadoula or email her at caitlinsmithdoula@gmail.com to learn more about childbirth classes or her doula services.
Are you looking to buy a home? The process can be daunting, but it doesn't have to be. With the help of a qualified loan officer like Paul Fisher, you can get the financing you need and get into your dream home. Paul Fisher, a direct local lender with Certainty Home Lending, has many years of experience helping people buy homes. He's knowledgeable, experienced, and he'll work with you to find the best loan for your needs. Contact Paul Fisher today to get started on your home buying journey. He'll help you every step of the way, so you can relax and focus on finding your dream home. Visit www.loansbyfisher.com or call 817-308-7361 to schedule a consultation with Paul. MLS number 2018111.
Now back to the show.
I love this segment. Our deep dive segment is so fun. We're fixing to put you on the spot. And I know that Bryan, look at Bryan. Ooh, let's go. I'm going to let you take it over. Let's go.
All right, I'm going to start with Scott because we lost Josh, Scott, so you're stuck with me.
That's great.
So we've talked a lot about community, right, today. Being on the city council, for folks out in Heath, Rockwall County in general, what advice would you give people to be able to get more involved in the community, be more involved in the decision you folks are making, and just, be more knowledgeable about what's happening around the county?
Yeah, you bet. So, one of the things I wanted to do when I mercifully had the chance to move back to Texas from the People's Republic of California was to get involved in, my local community and find a great Bible-based church. And I was chatting with Tammy about the ability to do both of those things. And, there are so many different options for people, from boards at the city level, whether it's planning and zoning or board of adjustments or events or parks and recreation, et cetera, to get involved with and volunteer your time, to local political organizations like the Rockwall Men's Republican Club, the Women's Republican Club, Women's League, et cetera, all around Rockwall County that do wonderful philanthropic type of events. And Bryan, of course, you and I share some of the same background from Lone Star Casa, where I used to serve and you currently serve as well. There are just so many great, good, and worthy organizations where you can invest your time. And what you find out in this wonderful county, and one of the blessings here is that Rockwall is the smallest county in the whole state, but we're also one of the fastest growing, which has its positives and negatives. But you have people that genuinely, as Lee mentioned, have this sense of community and belonging and wanting to give back to the area in which they live and improve the area in which they live. And I just find that so refreshing from other areas in the country where I've lived, where people just go to work and come home and you don't really ever see them again, et cetera. And, Rockwall County has so much to offer. There was recently completed the Rockwall County 2050 plan, which there were multiple opportunities for people to get involved with, to learn sort of how we are going to grow into the year 2050 as a county, and doing it from the grassroots level up, and being able to voice your concern and desire to see things change in this county. So wherever you want to get involved, it falls in the be careful what you ask for category, because there are so many areas where you can volunteer your time and to make a good and a lasting impact. So one doesn't have to look very far to find those opportunities. You just have to get out and go to a couple of meetings and meet some people, and all of a sudden you find yourself, spending time you never knew you had.
Absolutely. I can definitely feel you there. So Steph, we talked a little bit about where you came from. So now that you're here, now that you're in Rockwall, what is your vision for, I know you're huge on networking, you go to all the chamber events. What's your vision for business development in Rockwall, and as we grow, how to keep that top of mind for our small business owners?
I think it's important, to make sure that, those who, are renters who dream to become a homeowner do, right? I live in Rockwall myself. I, love this small town, big city feel, and want to be able to share it with those who want to become homeowners. I think I am very much interested in keeping it local in a way that when it comes to, obtaining a home loan, working with a local real estate agent, and if there are, home inspections that want to be done, and there are fencing companies, and there's, roofing companies, I want to be able to provide those referrals and those contacts to people that I know are putting their trust in me, and being involved in the community gives me the ability to not just know these connections, but also to know that like I can count on these people, these connections that I've formed relationships with, to know that they're going to take care of my customers and my clients as I am taking care of them. And you know, they take, what's the word I'm thinking of? They take comfort in knowing that they're going to be taken care of because I provided them that referral, that contact, and they're going to be taken care of as I take care of them. So it's not just, getting your mortgage through, a company who brands itself as a rocket ship, and getting, some other, real estate agent that you Google off, and hope that they help you, and getting a brand new home that was put up in a matter of a month or two in hopes that that itself is going to, last you for as long as you need. Whether you're going to build a home or, a custom home, even in that scenario, what are going to be the right, scenarios, the right financialists, all of those are all very important, as is how you're going to be able to afford that now and many, many moons in the future. It's so much more of a right now thing. My phone number is never going to change. So I want you to call me if you have questions on, whether you should replace your roof, or do I know anyone who could do your roof, or, your fence or your fridge. Those are going to be things that I still want them to call me about, because just because they own a house doesn't mean they know what they should be doing if something breaks or needs it in repair, or if they should sell, or if they should rent it out and buy something else. I mean, I'm very much a big picture in generational wealth, and making sure that I'm a part of the community is only going to further them, and also bring up the people that are around me in the community as well, which will further serve just Rockwall in general.
Yeah, always be a resource, right?
Yeah.
Always. That's awesome. All right, we're going to go to break, and we'll come back and we'll finish up our question with Lee when we get back, and we'll wrap it up.
At the Community Difference Business Development Alliance, powered by the Difference Media LLC, our mission is to empower small business owners by transcending acceptable behaviors and outcomes into exceptional realms. We foster a culture of self-awareness, accountability, and proactive engagement, guiding individuals to recognize and overcome indifference towards transformative actions, habits, behaviors, and processes driving meaningful change. Through strategic networking, impactful content creation, and innovative top-of-mind strategies, we cultivate brand relevance and differentiation, enabling our partners and the Difference community to stand out in crowded markets. With a focus on building authentic connections, amplifying brand presence, and driving sustainable growth, we equip entrepreneurs with the tools and mindset to navigate the complexities of entrepreneurship with confidence, innovation, and resilience. Together, we aim to be the catalyst for difference makers, propelling them towards their highest potential and leaving a lasting impact on their businesses and communities. That's where our community podcasts come in. These podcasts lie directly at the intersection of innovative business development and community involvement, helping to bridge the gap between small business obscurity often seen in our communities. The community-based podcasts, called the Community Difference Series, are an integral part of integrating all facets of modern business development into a package of great content, positive impact branding, and top-of-mind presence, thus fulfilling the greater mission we set forth. When we set out to be difference makers, we can learn to make a difference and find the success and impact innately desired by all business owners and entrepreneurs. We are difference makers.
And now it's time for What's the Difference?
Well, welcome back to our What's the Difference? I love this segment for a lot of reasons. You'll see in a minute. But first, Bryan, I want to hear from Lee. Ask a quick question. Let's get straight to it, and we'll get on to our what's the difference.
All right, Lee, I should have had you put a black hat, cowboy hat on in the break because I'm going to let you be the bad guy here. But as we grow, right, as Rockwall County grows, what would you change in the way that we've managed the growth so far, and what would you change as we move forward, with the community growing as fast as it is?
I think the one thing that we're always behind on is traffic infrastructure. And I know that's difficult because a lot of times that's TxDOT and it's not city. But city has to be the one that leads TxDOT. The TxDOT won't lead the city. I think that's one of the areas that is a problem. It's one of the areas that has to be addressed. I've asked for a crosswalk at my intersection there for over 66 for 6 years.
Yeah.
Falls on deaf ears. They always blame TxDOT. I'm going to keep asking for it. And one of these days we're going to get it, and I hope it doesn't take a dead person to get it. So that's black hat for you.
Yeah.
I think that's being straight, but that's being honest is, you put them in 2 other places downtown. How about a third? And so those are the kinds of discussions that we have to have publicly, because behind closed doors, a lot of times there's not enough leverage. I think that these types of venues that we're in right now open up conversations that have to be listened to. They can't be ignored. I mean, we've got a city councilman here today. We've got folks from the tell me where you Stephanie's on the chamber. You've got people that are listening, and you have to talk about things for things to be changed and a difference to be seen. So, going forward, we're going to have to do better. I know there's a big development going on out on 30, but that's not everything. I mean, the bridge is a big deal, but there's a lot more to it. You're talking about water here already. That's been on the topic for 3 or 4 years now, Scott. There's things that we have to do better. We have to do faster. We can't get let bogged down in and just legalese and corporate jargon and just another meeting to have another meeting to have another meeting. And so I think the best thing to move forward is to have people that do and less people that talk. And so I'm really, from the state all the way down to the city, we need people who love each other, who are part of the community, and who don't mind just saying it like it needs to be said and then making something happen. The one thing that we did here starting in March is we got real tired of the governor and his antics. I met him. I shook his hand. He congratulated me, but he was no help. And so I think that there's times where we just have to get up and do something, right, Scott? We just got to.
I love it.
We got to get it done and quit waiting on someone else to get it done for us. And griping about it on social media does nothing. So
nothing.
I'm out of time, but I want to say one thing real quick. We were talking about how to get involved, and Scott had a lot of different ideas about committees and places to jump in. I think it can be a lot simpler than that, Scott. Yes, you can do all of those things, but how about just pick up the phone and call TxDOT when there's a big pothole in the middle of your street? How about calling the city and saying, hey, the bushes are so overgrown out here behind Lake Point, we can't see the stop sign, and start getting involved in a very micro level. So that if the place comes to get on a committee, that's great. If that's your personality, that's great. But how about stepping in just on the day-to-day things where we can make a difference? I think that makes a bigger difference overall, perhaps, than the stages and the committees that a lot of people look to get on.
Awesome. A lot of places you can help. Okay, let's get to what's the difference. I want to ask this question, and I want to hear from each of you. The first question is, what's the difference between setting personal growth goals and setting career objectives? So what's the difference between personal growth goals and career objectives? Scott, tell me what you got.
Sure. So from my perspective, setting personal growth goals has to do with what you're trying to do to round out your complement of who you are aspiring to be. You're trying to increase your spiritual connection with Jesus Christ. You're trying to help be a better father. You're trying to be a better person, a better friend, etc. So those things are who you are and sort of what you're trying to become, for the long term. The business goals are more about what you do and how you're trying to oversee and guide and drive your company in order to achieve success. And in many ways, and I think, Lee said this earlier, and I completely agree with it, a lot of it is kind of who you are. Who you are is sort of how you manage your day to day. So if you're improving and you're setting your sights on improving yourself, that's going to have a cascading and a positive impact on how you do your business. So, in my opinion, it's setting your personal goals and sort of what you're trying to become, and then your business goals is then more about what you're trying to achieve through your operation or organization.
Love it. All right, Stephanie, what you got? What's the difference between personal growth goals and career objectives?
Scott hit it right on the head. I mean, we all are unique in our own ways, but we all have a uniqueness in our business. I think just improving upon ourselves as far as personal development, whether it's, mental health, spirituality, physicality, those are all things that can definitely continue as a domino effect into your business. Making sure that you're regimented and disciplined in your day-to-day definitely will show and provide many different positive reinforcements throughout those. Those are intertwined, whether we really want them to be or think they are or not, are going to definitely benefit not just your mental health, your physicality and your spirituality in your personal life, but as is flowing through into your career as well, and your achievement goals, whether it's now 3 years, 5 years, 10 or 20.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, this has been a great show. I want to read for you real quick the official answer, because we have an official answer. What's the difference between setting personal growth goals and setting career objectives? So the answer is setting personal growth goals focuses on developing your character, mindset, and soft skills, often contributing to overall life satisfaction. Selling career objectives is more focused on achieving specific professional milestones, promotions, or accomplishments within your industry. And I think we have such a smart crew of people here that we hit that nail right on the head, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Awesome. We're going to wrap up. It's been a great show. I've loved having all of our guests on. Let's do this real quick. I'd love to hear from each of our guests. Tell us your name, your business, how to reach you, and we're going to wrap it up.
Stephanie Whiting, you can give me a phone call at 925-305-6639. You can also text me if you're one of the texters versus those phone call kind of people. You can also email me, or you can Google me. Don't Google how to buy a house, but you can definitely Google me, and all of my contact information will be on there to help you figure out financing, credit, how to who to talk to, referrals if needed for anything. I have a wealth of knowledge most people could dream to have in my industry.
Stephanie and I haven't got to meet in person, but we have had a phone conversation. I can't wait to get to know you a little bit better. All right, Lee, tell us how to reach you, name, business, all the things.
Lee Wells Cattle Company, downtown Rockwall. Y'all know where to come find me. You can Google that. Also, We're Here documentary is going to be this Friday night at Greenville Municipal Auditorium, 7:00. Buy tickets. You can go to we'reheredoc.com, and that's a story that I think everybody across the United States needs to hear. And so I'm looking forward to our community being able to see it, those that donated, those that were a part of this, the hauled hay and feed and all the contributions that were made. I hope that people will come out and see it. It is in 15 different film festivals right now, all Academy qualifying festivals. So we're hoping for the very best over the next year, but it will go on the shelf until that process is finished and those are completed. So come see it, and this Friday night. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited. All right, Scott.
Hi, you can reach me at compressionworks.com, or you can email me at scottadodson@yahoo.com. For those of you in the city of Heath, you can reach me at sdodson@heathtexas.com, or you can all just give me a call at 214-551-1272. And we'd be glad to help you during this call here today. I was taking care of some people's water main breaks problems by connecting them with the right people in Heath. And Lee, you're right. Sometimes it's just picking up the phone and either calling yourself or knowing who to call in order to get things done. So it's about doing the doing. So happy to help any way I can.
Thank you all for being here. Scott, thank you. Lee, thank you. Stephanie, thank you. To my fabulous co-host, Bryan Decker, I appreciate you so much. It's been a great show. We'll see you back on week 1 of November with a new topic.
Thank you for watching today's show.
The Community Difference Rockwall was made possible by Tammy Escobedo, a beauty industry leader, Josh and Kristin Small with WeatherTech General Contractors, Frank McLeod with Minuteman Press of Rockwall, Bryan Decker with Compass Facilities Consulting, and by Clarence Joreff with the Compound Nevada. The Community Difference Rockwall. Together, we can make the difference.